not the whole
Lee?
thing, but I shared it on the page and everything, so.
Yeah, I told Gail now, please make sure you smile. I don't need my cousin beating me up.
Oh, she looks really, tell her she looks so sweet and special today. Hi, Hallam. My nephew's in the house, y'all.
Hi, Hallam. How you doing?
I have to behave myself.
Did I just see Hadley?
Hadley's
Yeah,
here.
Hadley's in. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice party today.
Hi. Hello.
Hi,
Hello. Hi, Sandra.
Hi, how are you?
Oh,
my Lord.
Oops, sorry, that's me. Let me do this.
Okay, James,
Yes.
you can go ahead and do your, whatever you want to do for the next 10 minutes.
Okay, so typically what we do at this point is we start with introductions of new family members who have never joined on a Zoom session before. So if you guys know how to raise your hand on the Zoom, then we can do that. But meanwhile, I'll just kind of look and see who I recognize, don't recognize, and just kind of choose you. Starting with Blessed.
You could change that to Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Fitzgerald Reed. Okay. This evening you have a whole contingent from Edward Lawrence, right? My brother Hadley is on, my sister Sandra is on, my sister Sherry is on. Not on is Irving in Barbados and Ernest in England, but you have the other 4 Lawrences. And I guess
I'm a Lawrence too.
I know. I talk about Edward, right? And Sandra, I give a little background for us. He had six of us. We have 12 children, and there are 8 grandchildren. That's Edward Lawrence group, right? 6 children, 12 grandchildren, and 8 great grands would be his case. So that's the group. And I'm Fitzgerald, the second one.
Okay, very good.
Next one is Hallam. Hal Banfield is next.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Hal. How y'all doing? So I am Hallam Banfield Jr. I am the son of Hallam Banfield Sr., which is Yuri's son, which is Ari's daughter, my aunt.
Ari's daughter, Ari's brother.
Ari's brother. It's, yeah. So yeah, I'm part of the Banfield side. Yuri and Ari. Ari's my aunt. And Otto's my uncle. You've seen Otto on here a few times. That's my uncle. So good to see everyone.
Good to
Hey, Judy.
see
Hey, Judy.
Hey, cuz. I hear Miss Dolly. Hi, Jeanine. Oh, that was for Hallam, not me, huh?
Okay, I love you too, but when was the last time I saw Hallam Banfield? Come on.
For you too.
Great to see you guys.
Okay, so
They're on opposite sides of the continent, so it's kind of crazy right now.
Congrats on
your out here
book,
again.
Hal.
Next is Linda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Linda, you're up. Hello.
Michaela.
Can you hear me? Linda,
Linda, where?
right there.
Lydia or Linda?
Looks like Lydia.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't have those glasses on. Yeah, but go ahead.
So
I can hear them.
Lydia, you're up.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you're speaking to me. My name is Lydia Floyd. I
I'm
am
sorry, I can't spell.
Williams, from the Williams family, and we're new to this call, and we're just there's a few of us on, I think. So I think I'm wanting to just mention that my grandfather is Oscar Williams, and as we understand it, we're connected. So we're just all new to this call, and my cousins Rhonda may have more to say about it. She's also on this call.
Okay, I had to cut you off. James,
Yes.
can you do me a favor and go ahead and mute everybody but David and Marcus, please?
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. This is Marcus Motley, and thank you for. I mean, I'm glad to be attending, but Ari, they're setting her up now in Antigua, and so probably she's going to.
Introductions until then.
Right, so she probably be delayed another 4 or 5 minutes. I should be able to tell you when they come on. They're going to be using somebody else's, I think it's a cell phone to bring her on. She's almost ready, but not quite as yet.
Okay, I'll explain what's going on until you get ready.
Okay.
Okay, guys. As all of you who know Marcus know that his mother is Hyacinth Motley. She's 106 and she's going to be visiting us today from Antigua. So anybody that has any questions for her, will you almost please write them in the chat, and David and I will relate them to Marcus, and Marcus would ask her the questions, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, James?
Sounds good. We have, I believe we have everybody muted.
And I'm a nervous wreck right now. Sorry, James, I had to pull a good one on you without letting you in.
That's okay. So then do we want to continue with introduction?
Till she's ready. Marcus will tell you when she's ready.
Okay, well, who is next?
I see Hal down there.
Where?
No, Hal, is that Otto? That's Hal.
Wait, we have 2 pages. Let's go. Where's Hal? Hal is in the house.
That's Hal.
Hal, unmute yourself. Introduce yourself.
How old are you, boy?
It's gonna rain today, boy. My brother's here.
All right, so I see also Elaine Banfield, or are they?
That's Hal. Hal and Elaine.
Okay, so Hal, unmute yourself. I'll do it. Well, I don't think I can. Yeah, go ahead.
This is Hal and Elaine Banfield.
And so how are you guys related?
Myself and Elaine?
No, you and I.
That's
right. How are you guys related to the Daisley family? Do you know?
Yeah.
James, that's my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Where did he go?
He's still here.
Okay.
I'll do it for you. James, he's my brother.
Okay, I got it.
My big brother.
All right, very good. Nice to have you here.
And he's my father.
Oh. There he is. Unmute you.
Okay, so until we have our featured guest, does anybody have any?
You guys can start writing your questions in the chat if you want. If any questions you want to ask her. Here she is.
Oh,
Here
good.
she is. See? Where?
Marcus, here.
So we'll ask you guys to mute your phones or computers if you're not talking, and then when you talk, you can unmute.
Say good afternoon.
Okay, Ari, she's on.
Say good afternoon. Yes, say good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, no, it's okay. They can hear you. Just say good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hyacinth.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
So this is my mom, Hyacinth Motley. Yes, her video says Hyacinth Motley. So Ari, I turn it over to you.
To me?
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're gonna ask her questions, but you're gonna put it in the chat, and David and I are gonna keep track of them, and Marcus is gonna ask her the questions, and
right,
so that
I
we wouldn't be all rushing her at the same time.
So Ari, you do that, and I'll step away for a quick second.
Say that again.
You ask her the questions, and there are folks there who will help her with that.
Okay, let David do that because I'm shaking.
Oh,
okay.
So I'm Hyacinth. This is David Clark, and believe it or not, I've been coming to Antigua for many years, and I never knew I had any family in Antigua. And so I am so honored to know that you're in Antigua, and I will definitely have to come and visit you the next time I come through Antigua.
She's muted, David. I have one question. Oh, I have one question from Lance. Lance wants to know, where's your fountain of youth?
That's
It says Lance, doesn't it?
That's from Wayne.
That's Wayne. Sorry, I told you guys I can't see.
Can I ask them any questions? I'm going to have to say the questions to her. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to take it slow because she can't really hear properly. It's kind of coming with a lot of static. So I'm going to have to say the questions to her, okay?
That's great.
So, if you guys could repeat the question, that would be great.
So Wayne wants to know, how does she keep looking so young? Where do we find the fountain of youth?
I want to know how you keep looking the way you look. Well, hello. At the present moment, I cannot really say how I look. You've got to tell me how I look.
You look very young.
You look great.
You're looking very young. But I'm telling you the truth, the gospel truth. I don't know what you call young, because what I suggest that you are calling young, would you like to know you are calling young? Can I say?
Can you put Wayne up there someplace? She wants to see you, Wayne.
You know what you are calling young? I am going to take what you are. You
look young to me.
Listen to me, please. You are calling someone that is 106 years plus, 106 years and 4 months, that you are calling young. So thank you for that.
You look young.
I have a question. Harrison, where in Barbados were you born? Were you born in St. Michael or St. Thomas?
In Barbados, I was born. Yes.
Yeah, where?
I was born. Where are you from?
Me? I am from Barbados.
You are from Barbados? Where you know. I'm asking a question. You know the place.
Okay, we're here.
Now listen to me. I was born in Barbados, okay?
Yeah.
Talking to her. You were born in Barbados, right?
Yes.
I was born in Barbados too. And I'm asking you the question. Do you know the place in Barbados that is called Horse Hill?
Horse Hill is in St. Joseph? Yeah. Is it right, David? Horse Hill is in St. Joseph, right?
That's correct. Horsell is in St. Joseph.
St. Joseph, that is correct, 100% true. That is in St. Joseph.
Well, I was also born in St. Joseph. I was born at St. Anne's Rectory in St. Joseph.
Well, you know where I grew up in St. Joseph, a place that called Horse Hill.
He wasn't there to me, so.
You know, Horse
I have a question for my mother. Tell us about Black Rock and so forth. What's that about? Black Rock.
Yeah.
That belongs.
Now, don't put him in the linen closet, please.
Belongs
to the garage or wherever, or the basement, not in the linen closet.
Hello. We are talking here Daisleys, and Black Rock, and Horse Hill, and St. Joseph. The Daisleys. So we're talking about the Motleys. The Motleys really is another story that is from my but we're talking
Stop to when you do the same.
those places that we're talking about. We love the Daisley's family. My mother's name. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Name was Daisley.
So I'm not sure if everybody's getting the same static that I'm getting, but it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she said her mother's name was Eldika Daisley.
And also we have several questions in the chat that we'd like to try to get to if we could.
Okay, so what are they?
Okay, I'm gonna, it'll be easier then. I'll explain to you how Hyacinth is related in this family. Hyacinth's, my grandmother is actually her aunt, and she's my mother's first cousin. My great-grandfather was her grandfather. And that should help explain some of the questions I have is how is she related? So that would answer that question. So,
and also the follow-up to that, who her parents were, how did they get to Antigua?
So I can answer that. Her father, well, her mother died in when she was 4 or 5 years old, and she kept telling me that her mother died of the flu. One day her mother was alive, and then three days later she had died. And just doing the research, so that was about 1918, 1919, because my mom was born in 1914. And when you do the math, there's only one flu that happened back then, and it was the Spanish flu.
Okay.
And so her mother died in the Spanish flu of 1918, 1919. She said she was alive one day, and then 3 or 4 days later she had died. Isn't that true, Mom?
Yeah, my mother died in that same flu, what you call it, worm flu?
Yes.
1940. My mother died when I was just 4 years old. And she died from that same, what you call it, flu, the influenza that you're talking about. That saved my mother's life. You took it, taken today, tomorrow you're gone.
So the next question here is from Lydia. And she's saying that she loves her hat, by the way. And does she remember Oscar Williams?
Do you remember Oscar Williams? And she's complimenting your hat. She said she loves your hat. Her name is Lydia. Lydia, yes. And she's saying, do you remember Oscar Williams? No, but listen to me. Let me say something to you. You're hearing me? Yes, they're hearing you. You're calling names. I remember names. I'm telling you the gospel truth. Me no nobody else never can know the name. My mother, I was 4 years old when she died.
Okay. That's fair.
I grew up in St. Joseph, Horse Hill, St. Joseph. I went to at St. Joseph's School. I was young. After my mother died, I grew up with my mother's relatives, the Daisleys. I grew up with child with them. I went to St. Joseph's School. Going to the school, I became a school teacher at that school, the Parcel School. And in teaching in those days, you had to sit exams to be a school teacher in the school. And I remember sitting 2 exams and passing them.
So Mom, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Tell them about your mother's family who was a school teacher or head teacher.
No. Who was your mother's family that was a head teacher? Oh, my mother's family, that was my mother's, the person that was a head teacher. Mm-hmm. That was I think it was my brother, something like that. Somebody related to my mother. He became, I know who you are talking about. That person that you are speaking about, if I remember clearly, that was my mother's brother. Okay. I don't remember his name.
Where did he go?
I don't remember his name, but I know who you are talking. He was headmaster at the, I don't remember the name of the school. Where did the school? I am talking about St. Joseph. Yes, he left his home. Now listen to me. That person that you're speaking about wasn't living in St. Joseph's. He was living at the place in we call Green Hill, St. Michael. And he was sent from Green Hill to that school.
Now,
as the school master.
Is he the same person who went to St. Vincent?
My mother's, I think it is my mother's brother. Marcus is asking you a question. What's the question, Mr. M?
Is he the same person that went to St. Vincent?
That is the same person that we're talking about.
Was his name Hubert Daisley? Was his name Hubert Daisley?
He was Hubert Daisley. I don't remember his first name, honestly. You don't remember? Honestly, did he have a son? I think he had 2 sons. He had a son that was used to come here to Antigua from St. Vincent. He was sent here by the government down there to do some kind of business here in Antigua, but he never spent much time in the country. And when he get to what work he was sent to do, he was gone the next day. Okay, I think you're talking to him.
So that's good. The person that's assisting Hyacinth, if we can hear you pretty clearly. So I'm thinking that she may be a little bit too close to the microphone.
Oh. Okay.
Now, also want to say that if you have questions so that we can get things, in an orderly fashion, just put them in the chat and we'll read them out from the chat. So the last question that we stopped off on was from Grace Clark, and she wants to know that any of her relatives migrate to Panama.
To where?
To Panama.
you remember any of your relatives migrated or went to Panama? Can you remember that?
I'm Grace.
Yeah, it's so complicated. My mother's family was Panama. Already talked that is on the they were saying after they decided the family because they and Halifax working on ships going to Panama and wherever. Okay, so you don't remember. I remember this. So you remember somebody went to Panama. Exactly. From your mother's side? So you
So Cicely, can you clarify what she said for the benefits of the folks online?
What she's saying is that she doesn't really remember specifically an individual, anybody, but yes, she remember the person, but no, she can't remember the name. The name.
Okay.
The name is not coming to her, but she can remember. I remember the person. I remember the person, but I just don't remember the name. Right.
That's fair.
Right.
And Trudy's just reminding everybody to mute their line if they're not speaking. And then Topaz is asking that if we can, and I think we all kind of feel the same way, that some of the responses are a little choppy. So I'm not sure if we can get you to repeat her responses. That might help. Wayne is, oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, so Sonia's saying static. Topaz is asking which line from the 15 children is Motley from?
That went to Panama. Who is the person?
So Ari would be the best person to answer the question with regards to which line that comes from. I mean, I think Ari is the expert on that. With regards to which of the 15 children. So
Ari, you have the answer to that?
I already answered. She's the granddaughter of Joseph Henry, just like my mother is the granddaughter of Joseph Henry.
Okay. And then Wayne wants to know, and this may be.
All that is one question.
Yeah, this may be related to not being able to remember names, and I don't know. I'll throw the question out there anyway. But Wayne wants to know: do you know any of the Bushards or Butchers from Guyana or Barbados, or any of the Grants or Jordans from Barbados?
So I can answer that for her and for her, because I know that she would not remember that. Most of her life was either focused on a little bit with regards to the Daisleys or with respect to the Motleys. Let me tell you a bit of her history. And when her mother died, as you know, very young. And so what happened then was she went to live with a family member, family members, both on her mother and father's side. Her father was a sailor, and so he traveled up and down the Caribbean, plus on ships from the Caribbean to the US and from Panama to the US. That is how Ari connected with me, because a couple of years ago I went on Ancestry.com and put in my name. So that's how Ari found me. But at a young age, when her father came back to the Caribbean, she started to travel through the Caribbean. So after she was a teacher, she left teaching at a young age and lived in just about every island in the Caribbean, following her father. So with respect to staying in Barbados, that was probably, and I'm just guessing here, that was probably just up to maybe when she's 25 or something. After that, she lived in St. Lucia, she lived in Grenada, she lived in St. Vincent a little bit, she was in Trinidad, then she came to Antigua in the 40s and stayed. So that's her brief history in terms of that. Her deep roots with regards to the Daisley family are not really there because of that traveling from island to island.
Right, understood.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marcus. Topaz wants to know, who are her sisters and brothers?
So she doesn't have a sister. She has one brother, and of course that one brother's name would be a Motley, Kenneth Motley, and that one brother went to live in Trinidad. Interestingly enough, that one brother also sailed on a couple of boats with their father, because I found his name on a manifest of a boat that was going between Panama and I think it's Boston. So that brother went to live in Trinidad as a Motley, and I cannot track him anywhere else from there. But there were no sisters. She has no sisters. It's just the brother that she has. So I am really the only son, her only son, and I have two sons. And now one of my sons has a daughter. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. Tina is expressing a great big hello from New Jersey. And she's also saying that Oscar Daisley Williams was her grandfather.
Okay, wow. Okay. I can tell you from my mom that she was so excited and astounded when I told her that somebody had reached out and said to me that they were my cousins on the Daisley side. And she was floored. As you can tell, she's a very passionate person. That's the way she speaks, and that's the way she is. But she is really, really excited and feels blessed to have all of you here with her after all of these years of being alone. Because, you know, we grew up by ourselves. I grew up by myself in Antigua, and she was alone in Antigua also all of these years. So we've never really integrated with the Motleys. And so to have a new family of hundreds of people, you can imagine how she feels.
Oh, okay, so thank you so much for that. Lydia is expressing that there are 235 of us descended from Oscar Daisley Williams.
Wow.
And Trudy wants to know, again, how did she end up in Antigua?
I'm going to let her start to answer that, maybe. Cicely, can you ask her that?
How did you end up in Antigua? Well, by traveling from country to country, it so happened Antigua was the last map I thought, and getting involved with someone here became attached to Antigua.
So could you pause a while? We didn't hear any of that, Cicely.
I didn't miss them.
We didn't hear any of that.
She said she traveled from country to country, and Antigua was really her last stop. And in arriving in Antigua, she found the true love of her life. And that's where Mr. Marcus Motley came in, And after she had a child here, that she decided to make her home. So that's how she ended up here. She traveled extensively. She went Trinidad was one Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and where else? St. Lucia, St. Vincent and St. Vincent. She never liked St. Lucia. Most of the places she stopped at, she really didn't. You were working, right? You were teaching at some of these places? No? I was teaching in Barbados, right? But she did a little island hopping and ended up in Antigua. Yeah. And she had a child here, Mr. Mutley, and her only child. And here, she made it her permanent residence.
A couple of things. Thank you, Cecily. A couple of things, folks. One, I'm a Motley, not because that's my father's name, but I'm a Motley because my mother refused to give me my father's name. She said, so she said she was going to give her son her name. And so that is how I ended up to be a Motley. Otherwise, I would have been a Joseph. But she decided that, hey, you're going to be a Motley because that's her name. The other thing is that for those of you who want to know more, she has written a book. She wrote a book when she was 96 years of age. It's on Amazon.
So, Mark, can you put that into the chat, the name of the book?
Okay, I will. That book really, you know, speaks about some of her past and so, etc.
Okay, so put that in the chat so that we can know how to get it. Yvonne was expressing that that was a very beautiful story that you just told. Hyacinth. And Fitzgerald wants to know, how old was she when she came to Antigua? Oh, that goes to you, Hyacinth.
How old were you when you came to Antigua? How old I was? Yeah. How old were you when you came to Antigua first? When I came to Antigua, when I came to Antigua, he's talking when I first came to Antigua. Yes. I was a younger, I was a kind of what I was a teenager. I was a young person. You were in your teens? I was a young person. Okay, but you don't specifically remember what age. But I was a young person. You were very young. I was very young, traveling around when I came to Antigua.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, maybe about 18? Somewhere around 18, 19? Okay. Okay.
So I have to offer a correction here. I don't think it was that young, because the stories that she told me with regards to coming to Antigua was somewhere around the beginning of the Second World War. So she might have been in her late 20s.
Yeah, about 26 or so.
Yeah, 26, 28, something.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. This next question, Marcus, may go to either you or to Ari. Topaz wants to know, is there a connection to Daniel Daylor Motley?
I don't know. And tell me, is that person in Barbados? Any Motleys in Barbados, we're probably family. She's probably connected to her. I suspect that she's connected to any Motley in Trinidad too, because when she went to Trinidad, not only was her brother there, but her brother was there because he had family there. So, for example, the Motley guy who was, I'm forgetting his name. He was an athlete.
Wendell.
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 Yeah, Wendell Motley was an Olympic runner for Trinidad. As a matter of fact, I think he won the 400 meters for Trinidad at the Olympics. And he became a minister of government in the Trinidad government. I think all of those people are her family on the Motley side. Unfortunately, you know, I really don't have a lot of information with respect to the Daisleys, because those connections were cut when she would have left Barbados. So that's why this is just like a manna from heaven, having you guys show up all of a sudden in our lives, in her life.
Okay, thank you for that. Marcus also put into the chat the name of the book, Words of Wisdom, Words of Faith, by Hyacinth Motley on Amazon. Grace is, she's expressing what is the question, love is the answer. And she is impressed by Miss Motley's mind and her strong spirit. And then Janine Hunt is asking, including Prime Minister, and I'm not sure about.
She's talking about Mayor Motley.
Mia Motley's the Prime Minister.
Okay.
I was just wondering if they were related as well, because I went to school with her, so I was just wondering if they were related.
Well, you know, that's work that I have to do. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to claim a relationship that might not be there.
Okay.
But everybody I talk to in Barbados, and over the last 10 years, I've talked to a lot of people because I used to coach. I've coached about 15 permanent secretaries in Barbados.
Okay.
And all of them tell me that the work is easy, would be easy to do, at least in Barbados. So I have to do that work.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And then from Topaz, she's saying that Motley married Florence Daisley.
Yes. Yes, that was her. Florence Eldika Daisley.
Okay. Michael was just saying he's very quick on the draw here. He just ordered his copy from Amazon. Good.
Oh, wow.
All right, so we have to follow up on that. So this is from Mativa, and she's saying that she's offering an apology. This is their first time joining. How are the Spooners related? So I'll tell you what, let's hold this question until after this presentation, and then we'll let you guys, the Spooners, because I know that I think it's Trudy that it can maybe offer up, or either Ari, but Mativa, hold on and we'll get that answer for you, okay? So from Sonia Hunt, so her father was a Motley?
Yes, Daniel Motley.
Okay, thank you. And the answer here, yes, Marcus answered that question, I see. Mativa, again, she's expressing what a beautiful family. Are we able to have access to the Zoom recordings, please? And the quick answer to that is yes. Janine Hunt is giving us the link, looks like, to Amazon to make it easy for us to order the book. Thank you for that. And thank you, Topaz. Okay, so Topaz, I'm sorry. I thought it was Topaz that will speak to the Spooners. That was just my mistake there. And so Topaz is saying that she did that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I think that is the end of those questions. If you guys, if anybody has any questions that perhaps it was difficult to put into the chat, but you still want to verbally ask a question, raise your hand if you're on video, and then I can call you out. So I'm gonna give a second here and let you raise your hand, and I'm gonna go through the two screens that we have. And I see my mom has her hand.
One, I'll take two, James.
I'm sorry, say again?
Take screen one and I'll take screen two.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth. My mom actually has a question. So Mom, go ahead, and you have to unmute yourself because you're on mute. You're on mute, Mom. Mama, you're on mute.
No.
Judy, help her, please. Mom, you're still on mute. We can't hear you because you're on mute. You just have to unmute your mic and then we can hear you.
Unmute.
There we go. There you go. Go ahead and ask your question, Mom.
The young lady that was 106, I am so proud of seeing her. Oh, she's so pretty.
Thank you, Mom.
And she's from Jamaica, from Barbados also. I'm glad to meet all my relatives.
All right.
But she's.
Yep, she sure is, Mom. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
You heard that?
Mama, we can't hear you, Mom, but we're gonna move on. Go ahead.
Was she related to my grandfather?
Okay. To Patrick?
Yes.
Marcus, do you know of any relations to anyone in Panama, specifically Patrick Daisley?
No, I don't. My mom has told me before that she had relatives on both sides of the family in
I
Panama.
can help you with that one. Patrick's father was her uncle.
Oh.
Okay.
Albert was her uncle.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Lawrence was Albert's sister. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Yeah, he was her uncle. He was her grandfather's brother. Albert was her grandfather's brother. So Albert was her mother's uncle, her great uncle.
So that was her great uncle. Okay. I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. In there's someone here named Charmin Motley. I'm curious.
Charmin Motley?
Hi. Yeah, I am Motley by marriage. I married Bajan Anderson Motley. That's how I'm Motley, but my mom is Iris King. I think she's also a Daisley. I'm not sure about all the history. That's why I'm listening in.
Okay.
Want me to answer that one too? Her mother is actually her first cousin. Charmin's mother and Hyacinth are first cousins.
Wow.
They're both the grandchildren of Joseph Henry.
Oh, so Charmin might be family to me in two different directions.
Maybe.
Never know.
Through her husband and through
Oh my God.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and Charmin, don't get
have a lot of first cousins.
so that
I know.
drive safe.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's what happens when you dig up the family tree.
Right. So anybody else have their hand raised? Okay, Arlene, go ahead, dear.
I just have a very quick question, and it was probably already on the website. When is Hyacinth's birthday?
May 13th.
May 13th?
Right.
Yes, May 13th, 1914.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Her birthday is always around Mother's Day. It is.
They're giving her two gifts.
I'm still looking for raised hands for those who actually have your video going.
I guess I would ask her, what is one of her most memorable moments in her life? You know, a historical moment.
So I guess, Cicely, can you pass that question on to her?
She wants to know what is my most
Good.
History. History, yeah. What sounds in life? What stands out in your mind in through your years? And what through your lifetime, what stands out the most? What is historical to you? Yes, because what in history she talking about, she said history was after I have become responsible for myself, or even before that, even what, you know, what is it? You usually you tell me about, you always talk about remembering your mom. Yes. That coming to Antigua. Is there anything in the most historical thing in my life that I can talk about? Whether it is now or before, it's PRAER. Okay. Okay. Please.
So,
go ahead.
So what she said is that, the most important thing to her is prayer. And it's really true. Everything for her surrounds prayer.
Okay.
And she has a lot of stories about how prayer worked for her, how prayer worked for people around her. And I'll add something that will tell you, all of you, you'll read the book, but one of the most important things that she did in her life was that she became I don't know what you would call it in different parts of the world, but she used to do what is called fortune telling. People used to come to her for her to read their lives and give them solutions. And so I became a psychologist because of that. Because I grew up with my mom coaching, counseling people in and out of the house every day. People would come, and most of her solutions had to do with prayer. She'd devise and develop a prayer for them, tell them that, listen, you have to say this prayer 5 times a day, 7 days a week, and then come back to me, that kind of thing. And so prayer is the central theme in her life. That's why the book is called Words of Wisdom, Words of Faith. Because that's there's one other statement that she makes that I'd like to leave with everyone. And she says, listen, I do not kneel and pray. I walk and pray. And she says, listen, if God is going to give me something, I'm going to go and meet it. I'm not waiting for it. But prayer,
That's good.
But prayer is
That's great. I'm going to go back to the questions and just kind of read what folks are typing in. Let's see. So Yehuda is saying that she's texting from Ativa's phone and they're together. That's good. Wayne put in a few screen captures that will show folks' names. And so those are in the chat if you want to see it. And I will also be sending screen captures along with the link to the YouTube video, because I noticed that in the YouTube videos, they don't show the names on there. So I'll be sending several screen captures that show names, as well as what Wayne has put into the chat. From Sandra, she's blessed to have joined today's session to meet Miss Hyacinth Motley. This has been a great blessing, from Sandra Lawrence Simpson. thank you for that. And I'm sure everybody has the same sentiments. From Rhonda, Aunt Norma, Lily, Lydia, Tina, and Rhonda are the daughter and granddaughters of Oliver Oscar Williams, who was married to, she believes, Felicia Daisley. And they were born in Panama. Nice. So there's another Panama connection here.
Yes.
I put my hands up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then Wayne threw some more bitmaps or screen captures. Thank you. And
the first ones were accidentally PDF, so I send it back. I send it as PNGs now, so it's the same two pictures. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's see. Sonia's just laugh out loud. She was thinking the same thing. Let's see. Except Lydia, she was okay. This is back to the Panama connection. Except for Lydia, she was born in New York. Also Tina, Lydia and Tina. And Topaz is saying prayer and spiritual guidance. And let's see. This is okay. So this is Wayne again. Another.
Too much of Wayne.
Wayne, what is the Peter Joseph Motley relatives?
Oh, sorry about that. I was intrigued by the fact that that Mr. Motley is a Joseph. So I just did a search on Ancestry, and I share 53 centimorgans with a Peter Joseph. So I was just wondering, is there any chance that they might be related to them?
Right. The answer to that is probably not, unless unless all the Josephs in the Caribbean are related. My father was
right. I guess Joseph probably not the rarest name. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Stab in the dark.
So before we end, I'd also like to thank the two persons who are helping my mom. It's Cicely Gums and her daughter Deja Harrington. Cicely is like a sister to me. Well, let me put it differently. Cicely calls my mom mother. And so no relationship, but they have a relationship like mother and daughter. And so, pardon me?
Wrong with all that stuff, and you're gonna change him, and you're gonna dirty it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give them a shout out and a thank you for being there to support my mom so that this could happen today. Thank you very much, Cicely and Deja.
My turn. I had made arrangements that we will have a pray today, something we don't do on behalf of Hyacinth being here. So I'm really glad that prayer is important to her. And Lance has a question. Can we do it after? Oh, okay. And we're gonna have the pray by Mr. Fitzgerald Reed. So you can unmute yourself, Fitzy, and lead us in pray, please.
Yeah. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'll read one of my favorite quotations for Hyacinth. It's a quotation in prayer that I love very much, and I'm sure she would love to hear it. I'll read it for you. It says, prayer is the answer to every problem in life. It puts us in tune with divine wisdom, which knows how to adjust everything perfectly. So often we do not pray in certain situations because from our standpoint, the outlook is hopeless. But nothing is impossible with God. Nothing is so entangled that it cannot be remedied. No human relationship is too strained for God to bring about reconciliation and understanding. No habit so deep-rooted that it cannot be overcome. No one is so weak that he cannot be strong. No one is so ill that he cannot be healed. No mind is so dull that it cannot be made brilliant. Whatever we need, if we trust God, he will supply it. If anything is causing worry and anxiety, let us start rehearsing the difficulty and trust God for healing, love, and power. That was written by E.G. White in October 7, 1865. So having read that, can we bow our heads for prayer? Heavenly Father, it's so wonderful to be able to come this afternoon where we can be a family together. We can get to meet family. We can reminisce of the past. We can talk about connections. I'm so glad that you are a great God, that you are a God who is omnipotent, meaning that there's nothing impossible for you to do. You're a God who is omnipresent, a God who is with each and every one of us wherever we may be, and a God who is omniscient. You know everything about each of us. You know our desires, you know our weaknesses, you know all about us. But what is so amazing to me is that you love us and that you called us your children. So that makes us families twice over. Not only family because we're from the Daisley Amy group, but also because you created us. We are family through Adam. We are family through Noah living this side of the flood. And we are so glad to know that you said you love us with an everlasting love. Most of all, you came to die on Calvary's cross for us. And that great promise that Jesus made, he went back to heaven, he said, I go to prepare a place for you, that where I am, they may be also. So we look forward to that day, when not only we will be as a family over these internet and over the Zoom, which we thank God for, but we also look for that day when we can meet all together, not only in Barbados, but more so in heaven. Thank you again for the life that you've given Hyacinth, Father. Thank you for the sharpness of her mind. Thank you for so many things about her. Sorry, she wasn't wearing any glasses. You blessed her with a tremendous life. And may we remember, as the psalmist says, to number our days, that we'll live according to thy will. So at last, whenever our lives on earth is finished, we can look forward to hope to that reunion in heaven. Bless again each and every member of the family, not only on this line, but all around. We thank you for hearing. Again, thank you also for Ari and Michael and Jimmy and all that put this thing together. This is my first meeting, but what a joy to be here. Thank you in the blessed name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that. Prayer is what we need in these times and days, and it's very good to get it when we can get it. So this it's a little after 3. This has been a really enlightening social hour. Ari and David said they had something in a surprise for us, and I just never knew until today, and what a lovely surprise. So just to let you guys know, for the first folks or this is your first meeting, please make sure that Ari gets your email so that you can get added to our contact list. You can also add it to the chat if you want. And then you will get a link to the YouTube channel so that you can see you can view this recording at your leisure. Also, we kind of topped out at 24 family members on the bio, so we need the rest of you to complete that bio so that we can so that everybody has a good idea of who we are. If you need any help with completing the bio, please let me know, and we'll get somebody to work with you to complete it. That's no problem. Okay. I see some hands raised, or do I? Julian, is your hand raised? Unmute yourself, Julian. I see you too, Grace. So after Julian, Grace. Julian, unmute yourself. Julian, you got to unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Can't hear you. Unmute.
Go with Grace first, and then I'll come back to Julian then.
Okay. Grace, you want to unmute?
I just wanted to explain, it's so wonderful to be here with you. I'm Grace Clark, I heard somebody asking from Panama. And when you asked Hyacinth why she was in Antigua, I knew the answer. And I said to myself, love was in Antigua. So that is wonderful. Love is the answer. That's number one. I heard Marcus talking about, and when they asked her, she was explaining that the connection, you know, the Panama connection is important to me precisely because most of you don't know that more than 60,000 Barbadian men came to Panama and worked on the canal and established. Some of them relatives stayed right here, and that's why we have our West Indian community here in Panama. And I'm going to be doing some research, and when we have the meeting with Jimmy and Ari's permission, I'll give you a little capsule of history, what went on in Panama, so that you can know that we are connected. I heard her say that she knew of some relatives. Her father traveled, was a shippy, that's what we call a shippy, and he probably stopped in Panama many times. And Marcus probably have heard her speak about relatives in Panama. Let's follow up on that, Marcus, sometime, so that we can be able to see where we are connected, because there is a lot of connection between Barbados and Panama. Thank you. Have a nice day, all of you. This has been.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Julian.
Thank you.
Julian, did you want to say? Go ahead.
Yes, I did have a question. I wanted to know, I see Cheryl, a name, but I don't see a last name. What's Cheryl's last name? Cheryl with the iPad.
Hudson. Her last name is Hudson.
Hudson. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Did anybody else have their hand raised? Cheryl, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say, yes, my last name is Hudson, but I tend to use my married name, which is Jagaday. So I did type it in the chat. So when you see that, it's me, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay.
Really good evening, good time. Really good being here. A wonderful chance to see such an inspiring person, Hyacinth. So thank you all very much.
Okay. Wayne, you had your hand raised? Okay, all right. So I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody. Ari, did you guys want to say something, David or Ari? Did you guys want to say something?
I'll go and David can go after.
Okay.
I really want to thank Hudson, and I'm really proud that she hung out for that whole hour, and she did us proud. And I really want to thank her for showing up today.
Okay.
I also want to add my thanks, especially to Marcus, who kind of made it happen. So Marcus, and of course, I once I can get through Antigua, I will definitely be paying a visit, as long as I don't get quarantined too long. Every time I go somewhere, I get quarantined for 14 days. I do 2 days work, get quarantined for 14 days when I get back. So I'll have to see how I can work it out.
Yeah, that's the challenge in Antigua with all of the islands in terms of being quarantined. As a matter of fact, Antigua just added having a bracelet. So not only are you going to be quarantined, they're going to put a bracelet on you to make sure you stay put.
Okay, very good. So on behalf of the Daisley family, we really want to thank you, Hyacinth and Marcus, for interpreting and backfilling on a lot of that history. And so if nobody has anything else to say, we'll just go ahead and end this. And again, we'll send you guys out the links to the video. Michael, did you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to share that I read Arlene's book. And Arlene, it was so beautifully and vividly written that it brought back lots of memories of me growing up in Barbados. So any of you who want to have that picture of Barbados, especially now that we're in quarantine, read Arlene's book. And I'll also have to say that my daughter enjoyed Hal's book. My daughter loves to dance, so she enjoyed Hal's book. I have found myself in a family of famous authors, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
So Jimmy, could you ask them to put Arlene's book in the chat? Or at least give me Arlene's last name.
Yeah. Arlene, can you put your book information in the chat?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
James?
Yes.
For the record, we have a couple more musicians here today, 3 more.
Who?
We're keeping track of the musicians. Hallam, Fitzgerald, and Hadley. Hadley's there someplace. We can have a whole orchestra at this rate.
Everyone. I don't see the everyone.
Very good. Okay, guys. So I will once I get that information, if you put that in there, then I will send out the link or the information in the next correspondence that I send out. So we have a lot of accomplished folks in this family. I'm really proud to know you guys and to be a part of this as well. If you guys don't have anything else to say, then we will bid you guys adieu, and we will see you, in 2 weeks? Yep. All right. All right, sounds good. Okay, guys, we'll see you.
Thank you. All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Good.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
There's, you're so happy.